Hello, viewer. I've enabled the live question and answer thing. So I'm really just doing a test here to see how this thing works. Would you mind maybe typing something to, let me see if it works or not? Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Can you hear me? Thanks, Mark. So it says I've enabled like the question and answer thing. So there should be a place for you guys to type. How about now? Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you trying it out for me. So like I said, I've never done this before. I'm just kind of trying it out while I'm down here in my shop. Those lights back there are kind of bright, aren't they? I was thinking about maybe trying to do some lab stuff in the future. So I wanted to just kind of test this and see how it works. So I guess while I'm working here, I'm really not working on anything. I'm just trying to clean up my shop because my shop's kind of small. It's only 12 by 20, and I've got a couple projects going on right now, and it's just way too messy for me to get anything done at all. So before I can move forward on my projects, I really need to clean things up. So while I'm doing it, while I'm working on this stuff, if you have any questions or want to leave me some feedback as to how this whole live broadcast thing is working, I'd really appreciate it. Mark suggested I try doing something like this, like during a project as it progresses. That's not a bad idea. I guess first I have to figure out how this whole thing works and whether or not that would be worth it. See, there are a couple more people that stopped by. Hi, thanks for stopping. Like I said before, I'm just trying to test this whole thing and see how it works. So really, I'm just kind of down here cleaning up my shop and trying to see, like I said, how it works. So if you have any questions, or maybe if you want to see around my shop or something, I could do like a little tour or something. I don't know. Let me know. I enabled the question and answer portion, so you should be able to type in and ask me some questions. And I fully expect, Mark, that you will give me lots of help. Thank you. One huge problem I have is that I don't like to get rid of wood at all, even little scraps of wood left over from other projects. So I've got tons of stuff sitting around, and I really don't have anywhere to put it, which is a problem. Hey, Matt, thanks for stopping by. I am drinking Diet Mountain Dew tonight. No beer for me tonight, unfortunately. So, Matt, actually, as somebody who's done this before, does it appear as though everything's working properly? It's only you and Mark Dolan right now, and he doesn't know anything about computers. So if you could help me out, I'd really appreciate it. That's good to know, Matt. Thank you. I appreciate that. So really all I'm doing, like I said, is working on my shop. I got a couple projects going on that my shop needs cleaned up before I can do, because it's just too dirty and it's not big enough. So I need to clean up and make some room. I just found a cutting board under a big pile of sawdust that I had completely forgotten about. Surprise. I don't know how people are supposed to keep up with all this technology stuff. I'm trying to talk to you guys, and you guys are tweeting at me and all kinds of crap. How am I supposed to do all this at one time? So one of the projects I'm working on now is a reclaimed heart pine table. And this is some of the heart pine. It came from a floor out of a brownstone in Baltimore. And it is nasty, dirty stuff, but it is hard as a rock. And it's quite pretty when it's cleaned up. I'll show you some of it. Here's a piece I pulled off of my jointer not too long ago. I think it'll make a nice table. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, it looks like you can. It's all quarter sawn. Try finding that these days. Matt, Mark Dolan says hi. And it is probably the least productive way to clean my shop, you're right. I agree, Matt. I will be much happier once my shop is clean and I can actually move around, because it's not that big. It's not big enough to build a whole bunch of stuff at once. Honestly, it's so messy, I don't even know where to begin. I'll show you guys how messy it is. Mark, Matt says hi. So let's just start over here where you would enter this thing, and you can see just what I'm dealing with here. Let me move my unfinished guitar out of the way. I'm kind of sad I had to put that on hold, but other things needed done first. All right. Feel kind of weird carrying my computer around my shop. So this is my shop when you walk in. Can you guys see that? Where's my hair? Yeah. So you walk in, and immediately on your right is my lumber rack, which is in complete disarray. And then you can see my lathe with that enormous blank that I still haven't gotten around, and a whole big pile of shavings on the floor from it. So this blank actually, my lathe will turn a 12-inch diameter, but the tool rest will not fit underneath a 12-inch diameter. So I've actually been using a roller stand as a tool rest until I get it turned down a little bit. I didn't really think that it would work that well, but it worked surprisingly well. I don't know, just an idea, I guess, if you can't fit your tool rest underneath your work. Back there on my lumber rack are my hand planes. They don't have a home, really. That's kind of where they live. Here's my bandsaw, which also doesn't really have a home yet. It just kind of sits in that corner, but then I can't really access any of my other stuff. Some of you probably heard me say this. I really need to reorganize my shop, and hopefully that'll happen soon. Here's like my tool bench. As you can see, it's just covered in crap that I need to clean off. And as we go around, you can see there's wood just everywhere. There's a Shape Oak 02 that I traded Mark for. You can see back here, there's just crap everywhere. And I need to take care of this before I can get anything done. I don't think anybody's ever called me incredibly entertaining, so thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Mark likes my roller stand tool rest. Do your thing, Mark. Like I said, it's just a test. So you know, we can just have a conversation, not a problem, man. Here's my guitar so far. It hasn't made any progress in a couple weeks, unfortunately. But once I get some of these projects out of the way that I have to do now, I will be super excited to start on this again. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I'm really dying to hear what this thing is going to sound like. Super excited to start working on this again. So look at this. There's just dust everywhere. I'm gonna do some work over here by my lathe, so I figured I would move you so you could see. I use the underside of my lathe for storage, which I always regret after I turn something because there's just an enormous mess underneath it. I have to say, I feel kind of weird doing this where there isn't like really two-way interaction. I don't know. What do you think? One thing I've noticed about my shop is that even just sweeping the floor makes it feel a lot cleaner. I feel like, I don't know, if I'm not walking through a bunch of sawdust, it's cleaner. I guess technically it is, but even though there's still stuff everywhere, just sweeping the floor makes a big difference for me. No more questions, guys? What's going on? These are what they used back in the 1800s to attach floorboards to a floor. They're those little square head nails. Found them in that heart pine that I'm cleaning up for the table I'm building. The nails are kind of cool, Matt. I was trying to think of something to do with them, but it's just one more thing that's going to take up space in my shop that I don't have room for. Mark says he's working in his shop as well. What are you making, Mark? Probably something with your Shapeoko, right? One thing I have to do tonight that I'm not looking forward to is empty my dust collector, which is actually what prompted this whole thing, because I was jointing that heart pine and, you know, I noticed that the dust wasn't really, it was all shooting back out of my jointer. And that's when I said, all right, if I got to empty my dust collector, I might as well just clean my shop. So that's what we're doing, cleaning the shop. See, and I've got things like these. Like these were the corners of that blank that's on my lathe. I cut them off so it turned down quicker. I don't know what to do with these, but I don't want to get rid of them. I could cut them down into triangle blocks for the baby. Yeah, that's what I'll do. What do you mean there's a lag, Mark? You mean from the time you see the video or something? And of course I have 4 of these, so it's going to be a lot of triangle blocks. I have clothes in my shop. Very dirty clothes. I have been looking for this belt though. Matt says he is photographing some slabs, I assume for his website to go for sale. You got some like cool lumber on your site, dude. I'm gonna have to pick your brain about how shipping that works, because I imagine it's crazy expensive to ship it. Mark wants me to say 1, 2, 3, and then he'll tell me how long it takes from the time I say it to when he responds. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then we can see how long the lag is. It is 7:02 p.m. according to my computer clock. So 4, 5, 6 mark must be your reply to my 1, 2, 3. It was only about a minute, so that's not horrible. That's pretty high tech, Matt. You have a shipping calculator for your lumber? I'm gonna have to look into something like that for the stuff that I ship. What do you use? Is it like a plugin? Is your website a WordPress website? Thanks, Mark. Now we know how long the lag is. I guess considering everything that's happening, a minute isn't too bad. I use WordPress with WooCommerce as well. I guess maybe the shipping calculator is one of the settings in the WooCommerce plugin. Is that right? These were a fun project. They're my homemade carbide lathe tools. It was actually the first video I did on YouTube. They work really well. I did the video because at the time, there weren't that many, at least none that kind of showed the process, so I figured I'd make one. All right, Mark, see you later. Oh, it's a paid plugin for WooCommerce. Yeah, I haven't looked into any of that. I guess maybe I should. Although really, the only things that I've actually sold directly from my website have all been digital download stuff. So it looks like it's just you and me now, Matt. So I guess let me ask you a question. It seems like most of the views on my videos, like at least the videos that get the most views, are the videos that I've made of building dining room tables. Do you find that most of the videos that you make that get the most views are also build videos of some sort? You don't have to go to the trouble to actually look. I just thought maybe you would know off the top of your head. Thank you, though. So yours are more, I guess, but 2 out of the 3 are build videos, huh? That's extremely unfortunate. I bought a different type of garbage bag and it doesn't fit in my garbage can. It's going to make cleaning my shop difficult. Crap. Even something like this little stick of walnut, it's like a 3/16 of an inch thick. I don't want to throw this away. My shop's too small to keep stuff like this, though. I'm going to keep it anyways. All right, so I'd say this was a pretty successful test of the whole Google Hangout on air thing. So I'm going to end it here, and maybe in the future, I'll do something that's a little more planned. All right, thanks, guys.